Chuckloaf goes squatching. Usually I'm bringing you horror movie reviews on this channel, but I've seen so many Bigfoot documentaries lately, and it's mostly just jokers going out in the woods and doing a few tree knocks and a few howls, and then they call it a Bigfoot documentary. And usually you put a ridiculous title on it, like Sasquatch Uncovered. But I have no place. I've always wanted to go squatching, but there's no place to go squatching around here. I'm in Lansing, Michigan. There's no squatch sightings around here. Then I found out about one in 2015 at a local park called Bancroft Park. And I figured if that's 5 minutes down the road, I have no excuse. I figured I'd go out there once or twice, find nothing, get discouraged, give up, find something else to do. So, it's not the case. I've got all kinds of stuff. So, here are the results. Expedition number 1. All these expeditions occurred late June to mid-August of 2022. Quickly, the layout of the park, Bancroft Park. The beginning, it's right next to a golf course. And it's got the parking lot, and it goes. You can go up to the right or the left. There's a big, huge soccer field, kind of in the middle there. Then you go up to the right or left around the soccer field, and it goes up to a big picnic area where there's like a swing set and stuff. And then it goes back in like a deep, dark forest where it's really canopied, and that's where the big pond is, and that's where the alleged sighting occurred. And then it goes back a little further in what I call no man's land, because it's really tough to traverse any of that area. There is a little game trail that I followed once, but that's later on. We'll get to that eventually. But here's what I found at expedition number 1. So I get there just as the park was opening, as I planned. So I wanted the park to myself. And so I decided to go up the right-hand side, and I'm looking at every inch of ground. I'm looking up every tree. I'm leaving no stone unturned. So after 45 minutes, I'm almost to the top picnic area, which usually takes about 5 minutes if you're just walking normally. But I'm inching my way through, you know. And then I hear these twig snappings, and I think, why am I not recording this? But this is what I heard. I heard a psh, 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 just like that. Then I turned around towards the sound, and it's coming from the area I just came from. So do I go back? Do I keep going? I decided maybe if it was a squatch, maybe they're warning the other squatches. There's some other guys coming up the picnic area, so you better go hide. So I kept on going. So, kept on going, didn't find anything else, but that was a bizarre incident. In the second trip, I got there just as the park was opening. The guy there was just opening the gate, and I talked to him for a minute. Very nice man called Glenn Lopez, who runs a Facebook group trying to preserve the park and help people to show up and stuff to it. Very nice man. I guess the gate they had on the park was brand new. And he said people used to come into the park and dump truckloads of garbage into the parking lot. That may explain some of the activity. If Sasquatch has tons of free food being dumped right in the parking lot, and then they could just hide out, wait, and say, hey. But that's just theory. So the first thing I wanted to do is, when I got there for this expedition, was try to figure out where those twig snappings were coming from. And there was this little ridge of land, I guess, behind the parking lot that I didn't explore last time. From the naked eye, it doesn't look like there's very much land up there, but when you get up there, and it's a little tricky to get up there, especially my big ass. But when I got up there, it's like a squatch heaven. It's these tall old trees, fallen trees, thick brush. It's all craziness. It's like, wow, this is Squatch paradise. So I'm poking around here, then I'm looking up the trees as I said I do, and I look up this old spruce tree about 20 feet up. I see something that doesn't really belong. It's about the size of the tray they give you when you go inside a McDonald's and eat inside. It's about that size. I don't know if it's plastic or it's wood, but it's flat and it's that size. And it's resting on 3 branches right next to the stump of the tree. Yeah. But it's way up there, and I was like, why is that there? It's like, maybe it's a perch. Because from that area, if you're on that perch, you could look down onto the parking lot of the park and onto the second hole of the neighboring golf course. So you could sit up there and people watch. Another activity for a squatch, maybe. So that was interesting. And then one thing I noticed differently about the first expedition, this time there was animals everywhere. First expedition, there was animals nowhere. Not one squirrel, nothing. This one, there's squirrels everywhere. Chipmunks, deer. I'll get to the deer story in a minute. But, yeah, it was different. Different vibe. And then I found my first footprint. And here is the evidence. Here's my picture. Here is my wallet. I put my wallet next to it. And here is the outline, so you can see it a little better. It's not really castable because it didn't look very fresh. And the ground was very dry and crumbly. But it was definitely a clear heel imprint and clear toes. And it was about 3 inches bigger than my shoe, and I'm a 14. So it's a pretty sizable foot. So that was interesting, and it was about 10 feet away, walking away from the grill area on the picnic portion of the park. So it was probably checking out to see if there's any grubs of food left over. I'm theorizing, again, I'm guessing. So then I continued towards the back half of the park. And I'm going up to the middle of the park, where all the bike paths are. There's 2 like paved paths on each side, but in the middle there's all these cool little bike paths to go to the pond. So I want to go up the middle to the pond because that's more fun. And then I come across these deer. And my hand's going numb. So I find all these deer. So I keep walking. I figure they'll scurry away eventually, and they don't. And then one starts to take a couple steps towards me, and he's eyeballing me. And I'm like 50 feet away, kind of uphill, and he's kind of like slowly stepping my way. It's like, oh, is there going to be a fight? Am I going to have to fight Bambi? What do you do when you fight Bambi? Am I going to have to give him a scissors kick or something? But eventually, they scurried away, thankfully. So then I go to the pond, smartly put my phone away before I went to the little observatory deck on the pond. And I just sat there and enjoying the sights of hearing the frogs. And then 20 feet away, out of the tall grass, jumps this full-grown deer. Scares the bejesus out of me. I didn't know it was there. That shows you how things can be under your nose and you don't know it. And I'm glad I didn't have my phone in my hand, because it would have gone flying 20 feet in the air. So I leave the pond area, and right behind the pond area there's a little trail that goes steep downhill, and then it kind of goes off. It's like, well, I gotta get down there. So I get down there, not easily, but I got down there and it goes nowhere. It's like, God damn it. So I gotta go back up this steep area to go up. Each time I've come to this park, that path is blocked by something different. First time there was one tree in the way. Second time there was 2 trees. Third time those 2 trees were gone and a bigger, older tree was put in the way. And then the next time after that, it was like the tree was still there, but it was like stomped where the tree would have been over the trail. It's weird. So I couldn't go that way. So I found this other little... It's barely a game trail. I don't really think it's a bike trail. It's real tight. And it's real tough. In the back part of the park, there's really... It's difficult. And again, there's a tree blocking the path, so I got to step over the tree. And there's 2 paths. It goes right, or it goes left. It's like, well, we'll go right. And you go right towards the back end of the park where the park ends, and it's so thick in some parts. Something could be 3 feet away, and you wouldn't know. Not until it's on top of you. So I'm going. I'm like, I hope this trail ends, because I'm getting a little tired. I'm getting a little exhausted. And it does loop back around. That other split in the trail it's just one big loop. But at the end of the park there is the spot where it goes 20 feet down, almost straight down, and then there's like a dried up pond, and then it goes 20 feet straight up again, and then that's kind of where the park ends, and then there's a street on the other side of that, a dead-end street. There's no houses there, but I can't get down there. It's too hard to traverse. But yeah, that's what I found in the second expedition. Third expedition. So I'm almost to the halfway point of the park, and I hear a distant tree knock. And then I'm about 2/3 of the way through the park, almost to the pond, and I hear another distant tree knock. So then I get to the end of the park, and I wait. I don't hear any more tree knocks, so I figure, you know what? I'm going to do my own tree knocks. So I do my own 2 tree knocks, and here is the audio results of that. In that audio clip, you hear 3 knocks. Only 2 are mine. Where that third one came from, or who made that, is unknown. It came from over the area that is untraversable. I hope that's a word. And it's coming from beyond the park. So I got a map out. Like, what the hell's beyond the park? It's another park. Great. It's another park called Porter Park. Expedition number 4, Porter Park. This park is just as nuts as the other one. So I get to Porter Park, no parking. Got to park on a street and walk in between 2 houses on this little trail. Like, this is bullshit. And it's wide open. It's like you could fit 3 Field of Dreams in this park. It's just wide open with one little area for swing sets and stuff. It's like, well, I'll start going on the outskirts and see what I find. Low expectation. Immediately, I find a possible Bigfoot nest. It looks like something took every twig in the forest and kind of intertwined it together in this nest that's a little bit longer than an igloo, I guess. It's the best way I could describe it. Plus, it's also using branches and bushes that are still alive. It's not all just dead twigs. It's kind of a combination, and it's and here's the picture of that. It's hard to get close to it, and if you get close to it, it's real dark in there, then you can't see nothing. But and then I go another 20 feet, and there's another one constructed the exact same way. For those that watch Expedition Bigfoot, the TV show, the reality show, where they try to find Bigfoot. In season 3, they found 2 nests almost side by side, just like this one. So maybe that's what they do. Why have one when you can build 2? Maybe use one for the adults and one for the kids, or one for the males, one for the females. I don't know. And then you go another 30 feet, and there's this monstrosity that sticks out. What is this? It's like 4 dead trees with 3 dead trees pushed through it, and I don't know what the I don't know what's going on here. It's a weird tree structure. Maybe that is their little landmarker that lets them know that, hey, there's a couple nests nearby if you're tired. If you're a squatch and you're tired. That's like their little Holiday Inn sign, you know? Although the Squatch Hollywood is Holiday Inn. There's no room service, though. No breakfast. No towels. No mini fridge. No ice machine. And definitely no HBO. So, it's what they call a 1-star hotel. So, and then there's this opening of land that looks so amazing, but I couldn't get to it. It's like a couple of acres, but it's just tall grass with a couple broken dead trees. But I couldn't get to it because I would have been neck high in weeds and brush. And I have a thing about ticks. Even though I was pretty much dripping in deep woods off and bug repellent, I did not want to go through that. Maybe in the winter I'll go through it. Maybe get there easily and check in back there. But then I got a little further down, and there's more forest area, which may have been private land because there were a couple houses that weren't too far away, but I'm squatching, so screw them. So I decide before I leave, I'll do some tree knocks and see what happens. So I do my usual 2. Wait, nothing. Put my phone away, start to walk away, and then in the distance, I hear a very distant tap tap response. It's like, oh great. And of course, where is it coming from? Bancroft Park. So I make the decision to go back to Bancroft, which was a bad idea. I get halfway down the park and I'm so exhausted. I can't go any further. So I turned around and went home. I'm not a young man anymore. But, yeah, interesting. Porter Park, I'll definitely have to go there again. 5th expedition, back at Bancroft. Didn't really find anything. It was a nice day. It was a beautiful day. It's a beautiful park, but it was a nice day. But I didn't really find anything. Expedition number 6. It was slow going. A couple false alarms. Shadows playing tricks with me, but never. I got up to the picnic area again and looked in the area where I found the first footprint, and I saw another footprint, a much smaller footprint, barefoot, about 7 inches, and here is that footprint, and there's kind of a similarity there. They both kind of have like a slight club foot type deal going on there. So maybe there's a genetic issue with this family of squatches. Maybe guessing theory. I don't know, because they both seem to have similar feet. But again, I'm theorizing. And again, it was walking away from the grill, from the picnic area. And if this was a person, it would have been scary, because it would have been a small child and they would have been one step away from about a 20-foot drop. So hopefully, plus, no parent would let their child run barefoot in a city park. Not that I find much glass, but still, not a good idea. So, yeah. So 2 footprints and some tree knocks, weird things up trees. That's what I found so far. Hopefully more evidence to come. And I can't wait for the winter, where the footprints will be easy to find. Hopefully. But we'll get there when we get there. And if I do find any prints, I will put all my evidence on here. So if you haven't subscribed, do so now. And you can follow along on my little Sasquatch journey. Until next time.